This is the Vosteed Bellamy. This was sent to me by Vosteed Knives after I reviewed their chef's knife, or their kitchen knife. It's an 8-inch chef's knife called the Morgan. And man, I love that knife. And they gave that to me, and that is our most used knife now. It is really nice. It's got a VG10 sort of Sanmai, I believe. And it just cuts awesome. And so I wrote them back. I said, I know you have some folders. Can I check one out? They have one called the Nightshade that's cool. It looks like a barong. And then they have this one, and they sent me this one. And man, this thing is awesome. I am highly impressed with it and really like carrying this. First of all, just so you know, it's 3.5 inches in blade length. It's just right in my, I think they call it 3.46 or something like that. So right in my, on the low end of what I like to carry on a regular basis in terms of blade length. But just a beautiful blade. Beautiful blade. It's hollow ground. You got this gorgeous clip point with a swedge and a nice, I love it when a swedge intersects with a fuller like that. So you have this beautiful fuller. Let me see if I can get a little more light over here. Yeah, a very, very black blade. It seems to swallow, there, that's a little better, I think, on the light. Seems to swallow up light. It's really nice. Sometimes it's hard to tell just by looking at it if it's hollow or not, so I've done a lot of like pinching it, and it comes to a really thin edge. This is M390 blade steel on this beautiful, beautiful, look at that profile, beautiful clip point blade. And then it's got a really nice handle too. This is like end cut, I think, or cross cut carbon fiber. It has a feeling like, I don't know, it feels like blasted titanium, or it reminds me a little bit of charcoal, just because it's kind of, well, it's black and kind of matte in stripes, and then has a sort of blasted feeling. It's just a very pleasing handle to hold. And then you've got this deep carry pocket clip. Works all right. It'd be better, obviously, if it were inset, so you didn't have to deal with that step up right there. There we go. There's a little more light, but it works pretty well. Now, this is the one issue you'll have with this clip, if you have an issue, is if you wear big seamed pants, tactical double seamed pockets. That's going to give you a little guff. As it is, just on jeans, most of my jeans are worn down pretty thin, so that works okay. But you got standoffs, you've got nestled liners. I love nested liners in there. You see them nestled in there, all nice and rigid. Standoffs. The handle itself, especially this part, reminds me a little bit of the first Big Lighter model by Kaiser. Here you have 3 modes of actuation. You have a great and discreet flipper tab that's nicely gemmed all around, which just does a great job. That's a little flipper tab, and that could be easy to misfire. Haven't had an issue once with it. Where I did have an issue with it at first was the front flipping action. Seems like it took a minute to break in the detent for the front flipper, but the regular flipper has worked great and same with the fuller since the very beginning. So when I got this knife, I was pondering, how do you set detent for 3 different types of actuation? And can you do it in such a way that it's, you know, that each one is equally pleasing and easy to use? And I think to a large extent they have done that here. I think with a slightly differently shaped front flipper, like maybe if this slope from this point, here, let me use another knife. Maybe if the slope from this point to the curve were more straight, it would be slightly easier to actuate, because as it is now, you have to really follow the frame of the knife. But like any other knife, you kind of do it a couple of times and get used to it. I at first could not do that cool, subtle, I don't have a knife on me. Oh, yes, I do thing. I have some difficulty doing that. But yeah, can now. All right, so you got nice jimping here. Feels great on the thumb. Excellent ergonomics, pretty neutral, great in reverse grip. If you needed it in this sort of grip, it'd be fine. You know, but really for the real uses of this, just really an awesome knife. And M390. Okay, so this knife costs like 130 bucks or thereabouts. It is very shockingly inexpensive for M390 and carbon fiber. Not even run-of-the-mill carbon fiber. It's, what is this, end cut carbon fiber. It's really a nicely done thing, and it's like, it's got, yeah, it's solid as a rock, as you would expect these days, and the action is just absolute butter. Absolute. This thing is an awesome knife. I'm really happy because they sent it to me free, and it would stink for me to think it's bad and have to like give them constructive criticism. This I would do. I would change that. You know, if I had to pick something and I could fully make this one my own, I would extend this out a little bit for my old guy hands. But who knows? Maybe all the youngsters who've grown up with front flippers see this and they're like, oh no, that's perfect. Like, I can't do this thing. I can't do it that way. The reach around or whatever they call it. But whatever this generation calls it. Oh boy. All right, so really like this knife. You can move the clip over to that side too. I forgot to mention. Let me show it with some knives that, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of. Or I put it in the same sort of spot on the shelf, or give it the similar veneration. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so first off, just for size, here it is with a PM2. So pretty nicely sized. You can see it makes a lot of use of that handle. This is about a ½ inch longer, and you know, has the same, packs the same amount of bladage. And then here it is with the 3-inch Griptilianoid RSK Mark 1. So just under 3 inches on this. So that gives you a size. It's a nice size, but svelte, you know what I mean? It's about the same, well, you know, it's very similar to the length of the PM2, but look at the footprint. I mean, it's just much smaller. And again, most knives are, because most knives don't have that. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, here it is with one that I have absolutely adored recently. I've been carrying this more than the titanium Tonto version of this, but this one also has that awesome clip point with an awesome swedge intersecting with a great fuller. And this is the Concept Prêt-à-Tout by K. Maxram, French designer. These have a lot of similarities to me, or I guess in their clip point, three ways of deploying. This one has the thumb stud instead of the front flipper, but you've got really well-tuned detents for all 3 ways of opening, even a slow roll on this one. And then you've got that clip point with the fuller. So a lot of the same charm in these knives. So that's the Prêt-à-Tout. Here it is with the Asticus, much bigger knife, but I brought this out just because it's got such a nice hollow grind on this production knife. Same thing here, just a really nice hollow grind. This, of course, is broader and has more length to get even thinner behind the edge, but great knife. Oh, one last bit of comparison here. my two other front flippers. I don't have many front flippers. This one works great and is just so freaking smooth. This is the Arcona Nettle, designed by Ivan Braganets out of Russia. This has that denim linen micarta, very cool. Yeah, denim linen, that doesn't make sense because denim is more of a canvas, but it's that blue denim color, but it has the really fine threads. And then this is the Bronte by Sencut. Just another really cool front flipper. And the front flipper on this one is very similar to this, but just different enough in that it doesn't come back in. It just kind of terminates at the apex of its arc, and that gives me, it makes it easier to front flip, I think. All right, so that is the Bellamy. So beautiful. The Bellamy by Vosteed Knives. There's their logo. You see the steed and the horseshoe. I'm not sure what the Voss part refers to, but just look at how super smooth that is. And I know that doesn't, you know, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Well, it's become a luxury like air conditioning, or something that we also don't need, but like maybe air conditioning you could argue we need. So it's a luxury, but like many luxuries, it becomes necessary after a while out of a certain kind of knife. So I wouldn't be feeling this way about a Chris Reeve knife or anything like that, or a Cold Steel, but from a, you know, front flipper, multi-opening flipper, modern knife on bearings. I want that. I do want that. And this gives you that in spades. All right, enjoy it. The Vosteed Knives Bellamy.